Welcome to Inner Spiritualism, where we explore the depths of spirituality, mindfulness, and self awareness. If you are on a journey of inner growth and awakening, you are in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic 6 things highly spiritual people quite slowly. This is a powerful one, so stay with me to the end. Spirituality is often viewed as a path of gaining wisdom and finding peace. But in truth, it's also a process of letting go. Spiritual growth isn't just about learning new practices or reading more books. It's about what we slowly release from our lives. Today, I want to talk to you about 6 things that highly spiritual people quite slowly but surely on their path to enlightenment. These are things I have also personally struggled with on my journey, and I believe that sharing my experiences might help you navigate yours. This one hit me hard in the beginning. I used to have this constant voice in my head that wasn't just critical, it was downright cruel. Every time I failed at something or made a mistake, that voice would tell me, "You are not good enough," or "You will never make it." And the worst part, I didn't even realize how much it was affecting me because it was felt so normal. Slowly through I started becoming more aware. I would catch myself saying something negative and would stop that thought. At first it was tough because those thoughts felt automatic, but over time I learned how to consciously shift my inner dialogue. Instead of saying you will never be able to do this, I would tell myself you are learning and that's okay. This change didn't happen overnight. It took months of practice and self-awareness. But now my inner voice is much kinder. And that's something highly spiritual people do. They quiet negative self talk not by fighting it but by becoming more mindful of it. I remember when I first started this channel, I was so focused on growing it quickly and getting more subscribers that I found myself constantly checking the numbers. I attached my happiness and self worth to how many likes or views I got. But I realized that the more I clung to these outcomes, the more stressed and disappointed I become. It took me a while, but I began to understand that attachment to any outcome, whether in my work, relationship, or even spiritual growth, was causing me unnecessary sufferings. Spiritual people, including myself, learn to let go of control. They start to trust that life will unfold exactly as it meant to. It doesn't mean you stop having goals or desires, but you detach from the need for things to turn out a certain way. That's a slow process, but one that leads to a sense of peace. Today I post videos and focus on sharing wisdom, not on how many views it gets. And you know what? Life feels so much lighter when I let go of the obsession with results. This is a tough one, and I will be real with you, this is something I'm still working on. For a long time, I was someone who needed validation from others to feel good about myself. I would post things on social media hoping for likes and comments, or I would try to please everyone around me just to feel accepted. But here is the thing, the more I relied on others to make me feel worthy, the emptier I felt. Slowly, and I mean very slowly, I started to turn inward. I stopped asking myself, what will people think? And instead began asking, what feels right for me? At first, it felt uncomfortable, and sometimes it still does. But now, my sense of worth comes more from within than from external approval. Highly spiritual people gradually stop seeking validation outside for themselves. They find fulfillment in living authentically, not in how others react. If this resonates with you, know that you are not alone. It is journey and it takes time. In the fourth one, let me share something personal. I had a close friend, a girl I have known for years. Over time, I started realizing that our friendship was draining me. It wasn't obvious at first, but every time we spoke, I would leave feeling more anxious and emotionally depleted. There was a lot of negativity, constant criticism, and honestly, it just didn't feel good to be around her anymore. At first, I kept making excuses. Maybe it's just a phase, or maybe I'm being too sensitive. But eventually, I had to face the reality that this friendship was no longer serving my highest good. Letting go of toxic friendship or relationship is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you have been emotionally invested for so long. But spiritual people understand that their energy is precious. Slowly, they begin setting boundaries and distancing themselves from negative influence. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's essential for protecting your peace and your growth. I eventually had to let go of that friendship, and though it was incredibly difficult, it opened up space in my life for healthier, more positive connection to flourish. The ego. This is one of the most challenging aspects of spiritual growth. I remember early in my spiritual journey, I used to think that being spiritual somehow made me better than others who weren't on the same path. I felt proud on how enlightened I was becoming, but over time I realized that this is just my egoist disguise. Highly spiritual people slowly quite over identifying with the ego. It's not that the ego disappears, you cannot destroy it, but you can stop letting it control your thoughts and actions. For me, it meant shifting from I am better than to I am connected with. I stopped focusing on how my spiritual journey made me special and started recognizing that we are all part of the same human experience. These shifts take time, and I still have moments when the ego wants to take over. But being aware of it is the first step to keeping it in check. I used to be a perfectionist, always striving to be the flawless in everything I did, especially in my spiritual practice. If I didn't meditate perfectly or if I made mistake, I would beat myself up about it. But over time, I realized that spirituality isn't about perfection. It's about being real, being vulnerable, and accepting yourself as you are. Highly spiritual people slowly quiet the pursuit of perfection. They understand that mistakes are part of the human experience and that's okay. Instead of striving to be perfect, I have learned to focus on progress. I'm not perfect and I don't have all the answers. And that's perfectly fine. It's about showing up and doing the best you can in the moment. This realization took a long time for me to full embrace and it has brought me so much peace. So if you're chasing perfection, I encourage you to let it go one step at a time. So there you have it, 6 things highly spiritual people quite slowly. These habits and mindsets are not easy to let go of and they don't change overnight. But by becoming aware of them and making conscious efforts to shift, you will find that your spiritual journey become lighter, more peaceful and more fulfilling. If this video resonated with you and you will like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community here at Inner Spiritualism. I would love to hear from you. What's the hardest thing you have had to let go of on your spiritual path? Drop a comment below and let's continue this conversation. Until next time, remember, spirituality is about progress, not perfection. Keep showing up, keep evolving, and most importantly, keep trusting your inner guidance.